Now we're going to add a data list, and a data list allows us to offer suggestions. So here's a text box with a label, and when we start typing it, we get these suggestions. And now this is different than a drop-down list, right? And so, but these are just suggestions. If we click on it, it will fill in this suggestion. So there's a lot of similarities, but some differences. So let's go ahead and start by just doing the label and the text input. And this is going to be just above our spinner for the number of times they dine out in a month. And we do want this to be in a form row. So we'll add that. And then inside here, we're going to put an input element. And this input element, the name will be equal to fave dish. And the ID will be equal to dish. And this type is just going to be of text. So we're not changing, we're not having a new input type. So we just want it to be of type text. And let's go ahead and add the label. So nothing new here. And so the label, we want to connect it with the value of the ID dish. And now the label is going to be a question. What's your favorite dish? Question mark. So now we have a label and an input. Let's go see what that looks like. This is the solution. Let's see what it looks like in ours. And there we have it. There we have a label and a text box, but no suggestions. So just the label and regular text box, just like we've been using. Well, to get suggestions, what we're going to use is a new element called a data list. And the data list lets us use options. Now remember, we've used options before. We haven't ever used them in a data list. And we can add the value. And remember that the value is the value that will be submitted with the field, right? With the field name. So the field name is going to be the field name of the input, which is fave dish. And then this would be the value that would be submitted. Now the textbook does this backslash and ends it, but that won't validate because the validator said, oh, option is not an empty element. So, and you'll see the editor responded with wanting it there. Now you can put something in the middle. If you don't put anything in the middle of these options, it will use value as the option. So we can do that. And we're going to have several of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5. And then each one will have a different value. So there's antipasta pizza, and then there's big kahuna pizza, and there's barbecue chicken. And Mediterranean herb. Pizza, and then pasta rolls. And then the last one is pasta artichoke. Pasto. I wonder if they wanted that to be pesto. Okay. So we save that, and we go back and refresh, and nothing has changed. And that's because we haven't connected the data list to the input. And so the way that you do that is you add a list attribute. And here you're going to connect it with an ID. So before this will work, we have to add an ID to the data list. And so we'll just add dish type to the data list. And then that becomes up here what we use for the value of the list attribute, which is dish type. Okay, so now they match, and that will connect them together. So if we go back and refresh, now we have suggestions. Or not. Let's see what's wrong. Oh, I used IS instead of ID here. So it doesn't work if you do typos. So let's go back and see if it works now. So we do that, and now we have this list of suggestions. So the user can pick from those suggestions, or they can type something else in. I want a hamburger. And now that you're using a data list, it actually responds to you entering a letter. So here we enter B and it starts giving suggestions at the B. If we enter M, it brings up the list by M. So there's how you get a data list to provide suggestions for the user.